حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر محمد رسول الله عليها نحيا وعليها نموت وبها نلقى الله سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
My name is Hadija. I became a Muslim in February 1980 when there were very, very few Muslims in Spain. There were not even immigrants at that time. So it was very rare, really very rare. When people started to know about us, they started coming around, becoming a Muslim, and basically the community was settled by people who came from all over Spain to stay and live with us here, because we understood that Islam was not something that you can take and then go back home and go on living the same way that you were living. Then it grew, and it grew not only in our families, because we are already on the fourth generation, but also our commitment since the very beginning was to show Islam to the society. So it means we have a lot of shahadas.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن سيدنا محمد عبده ورسوله.
My name is Omar Farouk del Pozo Cadenas. I'm Spanish, born Muslim as a second generation. My parents, they're Spanish, they became Muslim very young, before I born. Everything started with a man called Andalus, Scottish, and when he became Muslim in Morocco, his name is Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Sufi. He moved to England, he started a community in England. Small one. My father, he escaped from getting into the military because it was obligatory in that moment. So he escaped and he decided to go to England. So he went with another two Spanish young men. These three men from Spain, they were walking through the streets in London, and they saw one morning a lot of shoes. While they were coming closer, they heard a singing. It was the reciting of the Quran and Qasidas. It was a night of dhikr. So by that singing, they got cupped. I mean, they said, "Is something here that we have to see it. This is impressive." So they knocked the door. It was Sheikh Abdul Qadir having a dhikr with a gathering with another Muslim, English Muslims. And just coming in, they saw everything, and in that moment they converted into Islam. They did Shahada that day. He's the one, the beginning of the community. Andalus, Scottish. When he went to Morocco, he found what he was looking for was Islam. So he met his Sheikh Mohammed al-Habib in Morocco. This is my father. He was one of the first ones in the community.
Every Shahada is different because everyone has it in a different circumstances. And usually it doesn't happen in one day. It's a process. And in my case, I was atheist, convinced atheist, after having brought up as Catholic in my family. But Catholicism made me just give up everything about religion.
Allahu Akbar.
Some people have taken it very, very quickly. In my case, it took over 1 year to make the decision, because to me it was a big commitment that I was going to undertake in every sense, in changing in my life and towards my family, my society and everything. So I needed to be very sure of what I was doing.
We keep doing the same thing. We went to pray at the Alhambra. Security guards came and told us not to pray there anymore. So after that is when Sheikh Abdul Qadir said, okay, you have to build your own mosque. People started to travel to different countries in order to find help in order to buy this land. One of the travel was to Libya, and Gaddafi, rahimullah, he was the first to contribute, and he paid all the money to buy the land. After we bought the land, of course, you have to get the permission to build. So the community had to go to the council and ask for the permission to build a mosque. And just that week, the news were all over the news. This is all the news on the newspapers, Madrid, Barcelona, talking badly about the building of the mosque in Granada. So it was all over the newspapers, but alhamdulillah, Allah makes everything happen. And now is the opposite. We have a very good relation with all the neighbors, and in Ramadan especially, we share food together, and we have a list of all the neighbors around this area that is in need. And that's why they love us, because nobody is looking after them. Even the government, they don't find help on the local government. So they come to us and we help them. It's a corporation called TICA, which also has been helping us for the last 3 years. And all the money they give us for food, it goes to all the Muslim communities around Granada, and also the neighborhood around this mosque. So Turkey is involved in all of that relation we have.
My name is Ibrahim Hernandez. I'm the president of the Seville Mosque Foundation. I'm a second-generation Spanish Muslim, which means my parents converted to Islam more than 40 years ago, and I was born into Islam. I was born Spanish and I was born Muslim. So for me, I don't have that sort of crisis of identity. For me, as a European Muslim, is something very natural. I think it's more of a question for people that have immigrated, especially the second or third generation, that still have a link with the mother countries or with the mother languages. How people perceive it or perceive us from overseas, there's obviously the connotation of the romantic view of what Al-Andalus used to be. So when people come now to Andalusia or to Spain and they see Muslims, they feel very attractive and they want to automatically connect it. They say, oh, you are the inheritors, or you're the descendants of the Muslims of Al-Andalus. And we're not. There is no connection whatsoever. And whoever tells you otherwise, it's a complete distorted view. So this is called the Door of Forgiveness. It's one of the main doors that remains towards the old mosque and the cathedral today of Seville. And as you can see here, it's one of the few places where you still see calligraphy original from the time of the Muslims. And the calligraphy, it says Al-Mulku Lillah, Al-Baqa Lillah, which it basically means the kingdom belongs to Allah and continuity belongs to Allah, which is a very beautiful thing to say in the door to the old mosque of Seville. Islam was here for 800 years, but it hasn't been Islam here for 700 years. So there is no connection whatsoever between the Muslims then and the Muslims now. So what you see here is the same calligraphy, the same description that you saw in the door of forgiveness in the old Mosque of Seville, which is now the cathedral, which says Al-Mulku Lillah, Al-Baqa Lillah. It's easier to read it here, but it's the same inscription that in the mosque in Seville. We're sitting down here in the headquarters of the Seville Mosque Foundation, which acts as a musalla as well as a mosque. It's full of activities from the 5 daily prayers to many activities open for Muslims and non-Muslims.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
What could be interesting is to see how Allah, by His mercy, has allowed Islam to spring again, to flourish from within its own people. There's hundreds of people that are becoming Muslim, taking shahadas, that even to myself, I'm completely shocked because I was born Muslim. But when I see people wanting to become Muslim, it does something in my heart, because it's like, with everything that has been talked outside, how can you come, what is it that draws you to Allah? And it's really amazing to see that happening. This is the annual newsletter report of 2022, which we do annually for all the activities of the foundation. That includes the regular activities done in the mosque, all the people that have taken Shahada during this time. It's actually not all of them. We've had more than, I think it's 25 here, more than this that have become Muslim over the course of the past year, which is a huge responsibility because there's teaching and ongoing activities for these people. Behind every one of them, there's this particular story of how they became Muslim, how they approached Islam, how they came to us, and it's actually very comforting and rewarding to see so many people that have taken Shahada and that are still around. And as you can see, there's old people, young people, it does not matter. Rich people, poor people, many people that come to Islam.
Muy bien.
بحمد ربك
إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح.
Muy bien. جاء نصر الله والفتح. La fa tiene fatha y se lee fa. La siguiente.
Yo me llamo Khadija Temsamani Alawi. He llegado a España en el año 1984. Siempre me ha gustado el trato con los niños. Siempre me ha gustado intoxicarme de la inocencia de los niños y la pureza. Con los niños se aprende mucho. El trato es fácil. Yo recitamos Corán juntos, cogemos un sura y vamos con cada aya, estamos repitiéndola varias veces. Lo bueno que los niños más pequeños tienen muy buena memoria, son como esponjas, lo aprenden rápido y los mayores tienen capacidad de aprender.
إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح.
Porque para mí Islam es un din social, no es un din privado, no es hacer yoga, sino el din es social. Entonces es importante, nosotros solo tenemos 1 hora y media a la semana, es poco tiempo, pero al menos entre los niños se crea un vínculo fuerte como musulmanes, para que de mayor se sienten orgullosos de ser musulmanes, no tienen que esconderse, no lo tienen que llevar escrito aquí.
¿Tiene la sin? La siguiente letra.
We've gone through many different stages, and the first stage, when the Seville Mosque Foundation was founded, I wasn't even around at the time, but what they did was to ask the government for land. And the government agreed, and it was actually a very speedy process. And they agreed, and they gave us land. It's lended land. So basically, they give it to you for, I don't know if it's 50 or 100 years or something like that. It doesn't belong to the Muslims, it belongs to the government, but they give it to you for a certain amount of time. But then the neighbors around it complained. Officially, they would say is because why would you give the Muslims a land to build a mosque? Eventually, they took the town hall, not us, the town hall, the government of Seville. They took them to court, and the process of building got stopped. It never started, actually. And until the court case came, which lasted 2 years, and then after 2 years, the town hall actually won the court case. And they would have said continue with the building, but then they sued to the higher court. And then another 2 years got lost, and then eventually the higher court overturned the decision, took the land back from us, because they said that the town hall had made a mistake in the process of giving us the land. We decided that we're not going to go through that process again, because it's also a process that relies on politicians and relies on politics, and politics relies on votes, and and it's not very popular to build a mosque. For whatever reason, for the image that people have of Islam, it's not something that will draw votes to whatever government there is in land. So we decided to try and do it in a waqf land, which means to purchase a land and to do it on the land, which is the way we did it in Granada. And it's been standing for many years.
Mi nombre es Fátima, soy nacida de padres conversos, española y granadina, y estamos ahora mismo en la alquería Alcáuzar, que es una madrasa, y yo me dedico a dar clases de equitación, que es uno de los deportes sunna, a los estudiantes de este lugar.
He's my little boy.
Nuestro objetivo para los estudiantes es que puedan ejercer este deporte tan maravilloso que te conecta con la naturaleza y que también es un deporte sunna para los musulmanes. Yo suelo dar clase tanto a hombres como a mujeres y muchas veces me preguntan qué opina la gente de esto, ¿no? Entonces yo les respondo siempre que estamos en una época en la que ya nadie se extraña de ver a una mujer trabajando con caballos. De hecho, para la gente es algo bonito, ¿no? Y me encanta poder enseñar tanto a mujeres como a hombres y con ello no tengo ningún problema para llevarlo a cabo como mujer. En la historia del Islam, la mujer ha abarcado todos los campos. Han ido a la guerra, han sido arqueras, han sido madres, han sido educadoras, han dado consejos a grandes hombres. Entonces, en los últimos tiempos se ha intentado encasillar a la mujer en un espacio reducido, cuando nuestro espacio es inmenso. Con respecto a mi trabajo sucede lo mismo. Yo quiero intentar mostrar que la mujer abarca muchísimo más de donde se nos quiere encasillar en Islam. Y esta es la manera por la que yo puedo transmitirlo, enseñando mi trabajo. Como mujer, como esposa y como madre, he dedicado toda mi vida a mi familia, pero sin dejar de lado mi pasión y mi trabajo, y ellos han sido partícipes y me han apoyado en este proceso.
Peínate un poquillo, venga, dale, muy bien, dale, dale. Tírale.
Mis hijos están siempre a mi lado, se han criado entre caballos, mis hijas montan a caballo, me ayudan, y de esta manera, qué mejor ejemplo que darles, ¿no? Que una madre que puede ocuparse de su familia sin dejar de lado su pasión, su trabajo y sus dones, ¿no?
Sí, yo siempre ayudo a mi mujer a que ella pues, haga lo que ella siente que le gusta y nunca le reprimo en ese sentido, ¿no? Hay algo muy importante que es esta imagen que digamos, Occidente y los medios de comunicación tratan de hacer con la mujer musulmana, ¿no? Eso de que la mujer no puede hacer esto, no puede hacer lo otro porque el marido le prohíbe y tal. Es una imagen negativa, pero que realmente no es verdad. Es decir, aquí en Europa hay muchas familias de musulmanes que las mujeres tienen total libertad de hacer lo que ellas sienten y lo que quieren, ¿no? En mi caso, mi mujer se ha dedicado a los caballos siempre, desde muy pequeña, y siempre la he apoyado en ello, porque tiene un gran potencial y aquí ahora mismo lo que está haciendo es una labor muy importante, está dando clases a mucha gente, a los chicos de la madrasa y aparte la gente de la comunidad, y musulmanes y no musulmanes.
Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayyel salah, hayyel felah, kul kamis Allah, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
Me llamo Malik, soy de Granada, nací en Granada, en el Albaicín. Soy español, mis padres son españoles y mis padres abrazaron Islam jóvenes. Entonces yo y todos mis hermanos pues nacimos ya en Islam, ¿no? Y bueno, crecí en una familia musulmana y en una comunidad musulmana.
Tú lo dijiste antes, ya.
Entonces en mi juventud pues tuve una etapa de olvido, ¿no? Luego, alhamdulillah, hubo un momento en el que lo vi claramente lo que Islam valía y lo que los musulmanes tenían y lo tomé seriamente, y entonces a partir de ahí, al haber dejado una ignorancia y una vida, por decirlo, sin sentido, sin un objetivo, sin una meta, y al conocer Islam y decidir seguirlo, pues tuve el anhelo de aprender y saber todo lo que pudiera. Entonces, desde el principio tuve ese anhelo por aprender y saber de Allah y saber del Islam. Entonces supe que el camino era pues el Corán y el árabe, y entonces ahí empecé cuando tenía 18, empecé mi viaje de aprendizaje, de estudiar el din, y bueno, ahora mismo estoy aquí en la madrasa, una madrasa de Corán que acabamos de empezar aquí en Granada. En esa madrasa muchos de nuestros jóvenes memorizaban el Corán y aprendieron, y aunque no terminaran todos, pues todos siempre se llevaron algo, y eso es algo que la gente lo ve y lo sabe, el gran beneficio que una madrasa da a la comunidad y a la gente en general. Ahora mismo tengo 10 estudiantes que están entre 16 y 25 años. Y el propósito de esta madrasa, la principal enseñanza es la lengua del árabe y el Corán. O sea, el principal objetivo es llegar a memorizar el Corán.
وحين قال وما ربك بظلام للعبيد يعني الناس كافة بيضهم وسودهم كيفما كانت ديانتهم باختلاف ألوانهم وألسنتهم. عباد الله، لما قرأ سيدنا الحسن البصري رضي الله عنه ورحمه هذه الآية إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي. البغي هنا هو الظلم والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. قال إن الله عز وجل جمع لكم الشر كله.
My name is Mohamed Amin. I am native Spanish, born in the east of Spain, in Valencia. My parents are both Muslims, originally also from Spain. They converted to Islam when I was 1 year old. And if I was raised up Muslim, I had to take the decision if I wanted to continue to be Muslim, no? Because in Spain it's very easy not to be. There is always somebody here because it's open to the public, but it's not so much a security issue as a presence, to be present here. It's very easy to understand for a Muslim that we will want to try to be here for all the salats, but of course with normal life, not one person can take the job of being here all day. Solution is easy, we take turns. I am not here every day, all the months. I am here just when I am available in the city. We are quite a lot of people. We just arrange between ourselves in a way that we make sure that from Fajr to Isha there will be always somebody here to welcome the people, to open for the salats and to help in any way possible.
A gift from Erdogan when he was visiting us here in Granada, which is an example of the Quran calligraphy made in Turkey. The community knew from the beginning that to get a mosque built, not easy to do it. What we had, it was the people visiting us, and for us it was very special, especially Erdogan when he came and he gave this to us and his words among the people, saying, what you're doing is very important, what you're doing is amazing, because it's in a way of honoring the Andalusian history where the Muslims were here before and all of this. Alhamdulillah, what we have now is a mosque, complete mosque, a very big community, a community that is still growing. Every Friday is a Shahada here. The community is growing very fast. It's already 4th generation coming up. So we have to thank Erdogan for this visit, because it was very, very important in that time.
I feel very grateful to Allah that Allah has guided my children and has allowed me to give them an education which really encouraged them to go on with our work. As we're getting older and they're taking the steps forward, and that's very a big relief to see that going on in generations. It's a big gift, a very, very big gift. Not only in my children personally, but also in the children from the rest of the community, because as I say, when we became a Muslim, we were very young. I was 25, and we started marrying and having children, so we didn't have a family around, so we became like a tribe. You know, we helped each other a lot, and we were involved a lot with others' children. So they are my kids, you know, all of them. So it's a joy to see them, like Umar, all of them, going with strength and clarity forward. It's a gift, it's a very big gift, and a kind of continuity. It's a continuity, because if it doesn't have a continuity, then what was it?
Islam para mí es mi forma de vida. Es una forma de vida que lo abarca todo, que abarca tu relación con tu Señor, con tu Creador, y tu relación con las personas y tu relación con el mundo en el que estás.
We have something that we feel is important and we feel is valuable, which is Islam, no? And we want to offer it, no? And that is why we have it open here. From the point of view of with the meaning that is something that is not coming from outside. We are not outsiders offering a different culture. We are locals with our own way of life, which we feel is good and we feel is not foreign, and that is what we are really offering.
The problem with people in general is that they don't have the knowledge of what is Islam, and that makes people get wrong about it, especially when you only hear in news about terrorism and associate it to Islam.
I think we have a great responsibility and opportunity to be able to change the perception that people have of Islam, because being in the heart of Europe and in the age that we live in, people that cannot claim that what we have, the deen that I have, is something that is imported, or is something that does not belong to the land, is something that is foreign, is something that is temporary. They cannot, because I'm Spanish and I am Muslim, and it's my faith, and it's something that I like to transmit to people because I think and I know is the best for society. So it's something that we encourage as a gift that we want to transmit to the best of people.
Me gustaría animar a todas las mujeres que tienen un regalo de Allah, una pasión, que lo lleven a cabo en su máximo esplendor, y da igual la situación, ya sean madre, hija, esposas, porque cuando Allah te da un regalo, la mejor manera de agradecérselo es llevándolo a su máximo esplendor.